More than 6 million Jews and approximately 5 million others throughout Europe were exterminated by the Nazi regime during the Holocaust, considered the worst atrocity against mankind. 50 years later, during a civil war in Rwanda, more than 800,000 people were slaughtered by Hutu extremists. This is a story of how two genocide survivors crossed over continents, cultures, and generations to discover each other. Theirs is a story of hope and of the strength of the human spirit. The Holocaust is remembered as the most heinous crime against civilization. David Gewirtzman was just an 11-year-old boy growing up in the small town of Losice, Poland, when the Nazi occupation began. He and his family escaped death, hidden by a Polish farmer for 2 years beneath a pigsty in a rat-infested pit. David and his family were the lucky ones.
8,000 Jewish people lived in the ghetto. By the end of the war, out of the 8,000, 16 came out alive. Everybody else was killed. I was one of the lucky, very few lucky people in that my whole family survived.
David escaped to the U.S. and began his new life. As the world vowed, we would never witness such an atrocity again. 50 years later, a different continent, a different country, and a 9-year-old Rwandan girl named Jacqueline Murekatete had no idea what her future would hold.
We started hearing Hutu extremists, Hutus being the majority ethnic group in Rwanda. We started hearing them saying that Tutsis, my ethnic group and the minority ethnic group in Rwanda, the Tutsis were, among other things, cockroaches, there were snakes, the Tutsis deserved to die, and they started encouraging Hutus everywhere in Rwanda to start killing their Tutsi neighbors.
Jacqueline found refuge in an orphanage, and when 100 days of carnage ended, she looked forward to being reunited with her family. An uncle broke the news.
I was told that one day during the genocide, my neighbors had come and they had taken my parents and my 6 siblings and most of my aunts and uncles and most of the Tutsis in the village, and they had taken them to a nearby river where they proceeded to butcher them with machetes.
Eventually granted asylum in the U.S., Jacqueline was adopted by her uncle and began her education. Meanwhile, David, retired and in his 70s, began to speak before young people to educate them on the horrors of the Holocaust.
Usually in every city, they make all the Jews come down into the square, like I mentioned before in our town. They load them up into cattle cars. They're all killed. Then the bodies are put into these ovens and they are burned.
One day, in a classroom where David was speaking, Jacqueline discovered a survivor soulmate.
Both of us were children, surrounded by siblings, by friends, with goals and dreams, and how all that was taken away.
So moved by David's story, Jacqueline wrote him a letter and shared her story.
The pictures in the New York Times, the pictures on television, seeing bodies floating down the river. These people were the same people that I have seen being killed in Poland. The Holocaust was repeating itself. The world has not learned. And all of a sudden, we came across Jacqueline's letter, and my hair stood up. It was so powerful, so emotional, and it had such a message to me.
So I didn't really understand what had happened in Rwanda. I couldn't understand how my neighbors had killed my family, and then coming to this country and, of course, learning later on that so many countries knew that this was happening, that this is something that was on CNN, on BBC.
Jacqueline and David are on a mission together to educate the world, and especially young people, to embrace individual differences and promote compassion and understanding of what makes each life unique.
She being young and I not so young, she being black, I being white, from Africa, from Europe, Jewish, Christian, in every possible way we were so different. Yet because of our experiences, we felt so close together that we were like brother and sister.
As a survivor, I do have a responsibility to my parents, to my siblings, to all my relatives who died, to tell the story of their death in hopes, of course, of preventing future genocides such as that which occurred.
If we're going to keep hatred in our own hearts for the rest of our lives and also have our children infected with that feeling, the world is going to continue in that manner. Let's not forget what happened, but let's learn from it so that we will not repeat the things that what our parents or grandparents have done.